Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stebner Show. We have a very special program for you today. We're bringing you a real in-depth conversation about creativity, entrepreneurship, and entertainment with Noelle Francis, Kelsea, Alabama. But I can't do this alone, so we're bringing in a very special host. Gabby Mayfield is in the house. So sit tight, kick back, get comfy as we sit down and bring you the Gabagoose with Wicked Women.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Prepare for takeoff.
You're now listening to Stebner Show.
Woo! Thank you for coming to Los Feliz.
Oh my gosh,
we love
thank you for having us.
Gabby and I have been to a few of your shows, and we wanted to have you on this show to promote your next show.
Yes.
So Gabby, take it away.
Amazing shows, first of all. A big fan.
Thank you.
But yeah, tell us about so you just had your last show, The Mummy.
Yes.
So if you want to tell us briefly about that and that amazing experience that we got to go to. And then tell us about your next show and when's it happening, what it is, all the things we can anticipate.
We just did The Mummy, which we had been wanting to do for a really long time. We've been doing our show for years now.
5 years now.
5 years now.
Yeah.
We wanted to do The Mummy, but it was a little bit ambitious for us at the beginning. A couple years ago, we were really sticking to like straightforward drama, sexy, like really kind of playing to what we thought our strengths were at that time. And recently we've been doing a lot more like lighthearted, like kind of comedic things, and we've been more comfortable with that.
I am not much of a comedian on stage.
That's a lie. She's actually starting out by lying here because
I'm not lying.
Kelsea used to be it used to be really hard for her, and then she was the one that started being more funny. She was the one, and it started with Empire Records. I won't ever forget it. She came out as what was his name?
Rex Manning.
Rex Manning with finger guns on stage, and I was like, I think that our show has just changed. I think we're doing more comedy. Anyway.
I think that was one of the more comedy forward ones that we kind of started with, because we were doing a lot of sexy, what
dark,
can we make
mysterious.
sexy. But yes, we just did The Mummy, the 1999 cinematic masterpiece with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz.
You have to say the whole thing when you're going to refer to The Mummy.
Yeah, and the whole cast is hot.
The whole cast is super hot.
What did you call it earlier? The bi revolution?
Oh my God, the bi awakening. The bi awakening, absolutely.
I love that.
That means that when you first see this movie, you realize that you're probably bi because Rachel and Brendan are just both equally as hot. And the whole cast.
Yeah.
And Emotep.
Yeah,
the
the
Mummy
whole cast
himself.
is so hot. So
the Scarabs, really hot.
The sexiest part of the whole movie.
That sand
Super hot to be sucked dry
the
by
CGI has its own
CGI is actually
the CGI is hot. I was about to say that.
Yeah, the CGI.
That mummy on this air.
Yeah. Totally
Yeah.
hot, man.
Absolutely.
A raging success. It was really fun.
Coming up on the 25th of April, and we're going to do another comedy, Can't Hardly Wait, which we were talking about recently is a genre that doesn't really exist anymore.
The
that
90s
90s
comedy. Raunchy.
Raunchy teen comedy doesn't really happen as much anymore. But this movie has every big 90s teen star.
Yeah,
in
it's amazing.
all at once. So
it's great. So that's on the 25th.
the 25th. So what is
Yeah,
it?
the 25th.
April 25th.
April.
Where's that?
At El Cid, which is a historic bar and venue in Hollywood. They say that it was the first bar that was ever opened in Hollywood.
Really?
Yes, D.W. Griffith.
I love those legendary trivias.
The beginning of time at the Big Bang was El Cid.
It's actually the first building ever in LA.
Yeah, the first. It started L.A.
Yeah.
They just built L.A. around it.
It's the original City Hall.
Exactly, yeah.
City Hall is just for show. This is where the back deals are made.
It's a very cute venue.
Gabby and I, Gia and Raquel, got to see the Wicked Women show together for the first time, and you have this great question at the show. You ask everybody if it's their first time because they're in for a ride.
Yes.
And I feel that Wicked Women is one of those things that's hard to talk about
It's so hard to
because
describe.
you have to experience it. Gabby, what was your first thought when you saw the show?
Well, you said that you had met them, and you're like, go to the show, and then you didn't really explain it. You're like, just watch. And I was like, I kind of went in blind. And also, we went on the Mean Girls night.
Yes.
Fucking love Mean Girls.
Yes. That was our first show back after the pandemic.
Yeah, it was.
We were like scared that we couldn't still do the show.
Yeah,
we were really
nervous.
like in doubt about ourselves that night.
Yeah,
so
that
thank
was
you
awesome.
for being there to support us that night.
For sure. And being a woman in her mid to late 20s, Mean Girls kind of like raised me.
Yeah,
So
totally.
every word is quotable, you know, like
every single one.
So very impressionable on me. But I also love like pole dancing silks. Like I think as a woman, again, I think it's like what a powerful art form and just like pure entertainment and just like really attractive, you know, and just fun and free and very fun to watch. So I had no idea that was going to happen. So it was, I think, one of the first scene, like when you guys first got on stage, it was during like the watering hole scene.
Yeah, that was great.
And I was like, I remember I was just looking at Goose like, that's fucking awesome. I was like, this is the best thing ever. And then there was just more. It was amazing. So I was like, I will be coming every time for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And also the name Wicked Women just sounds cool. So I had a great time.
How would you describe Wicked Women?
I was just gonna say, this is my elevator line. I do have.
She does have it down.
I do have a thing.
I stumble over it.
Well, I used to list the performances. I used to say pole dance, aerial dance, contortion, and burlesque, but I don't do that anymore because Scarlett does sword swallowing. So I now say it is performances done by us and our friends in front of and themed after a cult classic film. That's what I say. It's women doing performances in front of and themed after a cult classic film. And then I follow up with my partner and I make all of the costumes, all of the props, and we produce the show. That's it's concise, but I don't think it really conveys.
It doesn't.
It's impossible to convey it.
It's definitely you have to experience it yourself because it's so much more. It's just like such a vibe, an experience, because it's so much going on. But it's all like, it's so fun. I love it. And the costumes are amazing.
People never understand that like it's in front of the whole movie. Like that's even though you say that, it's like that's the last thing that people understand. They're like, oh, so it's like scenes from a movie, and we're like,
or
no,
it's
it's
like
the whole movie.
show.
It plays the whole
complimentary, like experience.
Yeah, it's dinner theater.
Yeah.
It's dinner theater, and it's the whole frickin' movie. So
we try to make it as much as possible that if you haven't seen the movie, you can still follow the plot line, which is a challenge sometimes because we're dancing through. I think we've done the math, like usually like 25 minutes of the film.
Yeah, there's 9 sets usually, so
and they have to be placed specifically like for that character, so it like is a good cut.
So there's a whole pre-production involved.
Oh yeah. Yes,
we're in our off week right now.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about that. So do you guys all sit down together, watch the movie, and then kind of like map out where and when and what?
Well,
that happens on group text.
Yeah, it comes. Yeah, so we put together a group text basically right after the end of like whatever show just happened. Put it together, be like, hey, we need your songs and we need your sets approved by timeline day, which is always 2 weeks before the actual show. So timeline day is when we sit down and we download the songs of everybody, and we sit down and we say a little prayer to our timeline goddess, that it goes smoothly, because we've definitely been brought to tears in the past over like, oh my fuck, this is a nightmare. Dracula, never watching that again. Nope. So we sit down, and we upload it on iMovie. So it's one file. So we put the songs in, and over the film, she gets the screen grabs.
Women in STEM. Women in STEM.
So then we got, so that's 2 weeks. So like the first 2 weeks of the month we're kind of just like, the first week we're in our rest mode, and then the second week we're like trying to get our performers like on board, get them like with their songs, excited about it through group text, and then the 2 weeks before the show is when the production starts. Yeah. So we do the timeline, and then after the timeline, it's like we assign ourselves tasks. Who's making this costume? Who's making that costume? Who's helping so-and-so, whatever, props. And then the promotion part of it, which is our least favorite part, all of our Instagrams, all of that.
So by the time we get to the show, you've already inhabited that show for a month.
Yeah.
Yes. We put together our Spotify playlist, and we kind of just like live that playlist.
for
And
the
it
whole
colors
2
our
weeks.
whole like life. Like right
Yeah.
now we're listening to 1998
jams
right now.
Yeah,
A
and
lot.
it's like really bringing us real. Oh my god.
It's very nostalgic.
1998.
But for The Mummy, it was more like, it was kind of like tribal electronic style stuff. So that was like all of last month. It like really shifts our whole...
Yeah, kind of our vibe during the month.
Yeah.
Gets you hyped for the whole month.
Gabby is a cosplayer. She loves costumes.
Which is also why I love your show so much.
And as the show is leading up, I'm always looking at what you're doing with the assembly of all the costumes. It's amazing. The Fifth Element, when you were the diva with the tentacles.
Well, it makes me love it so much more because obviously, I mean, I'm wearing my Chucky shirt today, but Halloween, so like costumes, cosplay, going to cons and stuff is like my favorite. So going to this show too was just so fun because you're so put into like the movie. Like, I love it. But the mummy, whoever was wearing the actual mummy outfit.
That's my sister.
Scarlett.
Oh my God, that was my
Amazing.
favorite part.
Amazing.
I was like, is everybody seeing this right now? She killed it. No pun intended. But she killed it. That was so fun. It was amazing. And you guys were standing right behind us and we could just hear you hyping her up the whole time. That was so fun.
And then Noelle comes from the rafters.
That was awesome. Oh my God.
We were running through our last month's show. We were a Fight Club. We were doing our like pre-meeting, which we don't do a rehearsal. We have 30 minutes before the show. We run through like when you see us come out together, anything that's like before a set where it's like a walkthrough or whatever, we run through the show for 30 minutes. That's the rehearsal time.
Wow.
We're sitting upstairs, like starting and stopping the film so that they can see the timeline. And I was like, to the barrier, you know, to the balcony barrier. I was like, has anybody ever climbed up here? And they're like, no, I don't think so. And I'm like, I can climb up here. And I just started like climbing over it. I was like, holy shit, this is coming out next month. And it did. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it
I'm
went really
climbing up
well.
on this thing. I'm gonna climb down.
That was amazing. We had perfect seats for that because we were like,
really
we
fun.
like look up and you're right behind us and we're like, yes. I think I took a video. It was just like this part of my forehead and you like right behind me. Like, this is awesome.
It was great. That went really well.
At that moment, I felt like we were part of the show. Gabby's in the middle. Noelle's coming
Yeah.
from the rafters. Your sister's dressed in the mummy. I didn't even know she was the mummy until a week later.
Yeah, the movement is Scarlett.
Yeah.
She's a nut. Yeah, she's got beautiful movement. She can do whatever she wants.
That was amazing. And the fire, that was
Yes.
amazing. Because I had not seen, was that normally part of your show? Is that the first time you guys have done that?
We have done fire one other time. We are technically not allowed to do fire.
there. So
Elsa does not permit fire, though we have been trustee performers there
For
for
a
so
long
long.
time.
We have a circle of trust with
Yes.
the guy who runs the space, and we have been permitted to break that rule.
That's awesome.
for small fire,
We
just
say,
little
we say
torches.
small fire. We're like,
small
we're
fire.
gonna have some small fire. It's gonna be small fire.
Never fans or anything, just like the torches or like a palm.
Yeah,
torch or
they're stressed about the curtains going
Yeah,
up in flames.
understandable.
We
That's fair.
understand. Like those
Yeah.
those are expensive curtains.
Yeah.
That's great.
She did amazing. So
Yeah,
that
she
was
was great.
such
Yeah,
a cool,
it was
and
great.
it fit the movie so perfectly.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Exactly. She was a
perfectly.
new performer of ours. We've never had her before.
I think
and
I saw you
she-
post on your Instagram
Yeah.
that she was coming.
Yeah,
she's
she
gonna be a part of
reached
this.
out and she specifically reached out about this film, and we were
That's
like,
awesome.
well, that actually makes perfect sense to have her.
She
So,
was
yes.
awesome. Yeah, that was so cool. I was like mesmerized, and she was in the audience and stuff. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen Kelsea perform with fire as well.
Yes.
Yeah, I
was
loved
the
that.
other
That was
time.
really cool. I had never done that before. I was actually very
She was
nervous.
scared. She was
I
really
was
nervous. It
really
was cute.
nervous.
You did not look nervous at all.
Oh, that I love to hear that.
It's a performance. We pretend like it's fine.
I don't ever actually choreograph anything, so that was the first time that I choreographed an actual set.
Oh.
So I was extra nervous for that. So
You don't choreograph your when
She
you go on
doesn't.
stage.
no,
Can you believe that?
no. And
mean-
there's pros and cons to it. It's
She free dances.
yeah, I do free dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
She free
amazing.
dances.
My favorite is when you start on the top of the pole and come down to the splits.
Yes, a drop split. Everybody loves a
God.
good
I mean, yeah,
drop split.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh my God, I didn't know you didn't choreograph. That's amazing.
You're just like improvising the whole time.
I do personally,
She
which
does.
is why there's not heavy like pole tricks on my part because of that. So yeah, like I said, there's pros and cons. Sometimes I'm like, I really want to do some like super dazzling, like advanced pole trick.
She doesn't need it.
But like I don't practice those. I just don't have time to put a set together. And I really like just pole flow. That's what I'm the best at anyway. And so since that comes the most naturally to me, that's just what I go with. So.
Well, I was fooled. I thought it was choreographed. It looks amazing.
Thank you.
They did choreograph the doubles act. The doubles that you saw her doing.
Yeah, that was choreographed.
That was choreographed.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They worked their ass off.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then Noelle, the aerial stuff that you do, that's very
I
impressive.
do loosely choreograph those because I want it to look polished. I do free dance sometimes. You'll see me. I mean, sometimes I'll end early or I'll mess something up, and I'm pretty fine with free dancing through that. But yeah, I mostly choreograph. I love hoop. Hammock is more of a challenge to me. So whenever you see me on the hammock, it's usually a little bit more of the stressful act. I feel a lot more comfortable on hoop, but I do hammock so that, it's not always the same aerial thing. And yeah, I love being up there. I really love when you're spinning in that like apparatus. It kind of feels to me like I'm in my own world. And then you like catch someone's eye and you can like make that eye contact and make those faces, and that's really special. So you're like in this like whirlwind of like, I'm just doing my own thing, I'm in my own world, I'm in character. And then you like catch somebody and you like make some like really like cool face and you see them react.
And they love it.
Yeah, and they love it. And then you're like,
It's like you connected with them.
Yeah, that connection is like, I think we both really try to make that connection a serious part of the performance. We have said, we've learned a lot in doing this show for 5 years. And when we first started, we would go after the people who we knew were like a name in the performance community, or who like, we thought were great performers, did great tricks, great dancers, but we've kind of dialed that back to like really loving to use people who are just very engaging,
super stoked to like
super into
do the performance aspect.
The performance aspect. Like the audience, like you said that you love her drop splits, and there's a thing within the community called splits for claps because no matter what you do, that's like the hardest trick that you can pull out of your arsenal. You're dropping into a split will always get more applause.
Yeah.
And that's like that's not something that's a bad thing. It's something that's like should be taken as a performer and be like, hey, the audience just wants you to engage with them. They don't actually care what your like super most difficult trick is. So don't do it. Like if it's gonna stress you out, don't do a big trick. Do something that makes you feel comfortable, that you can look out and engage and like have a performance and have a connection with your audience. And that's what we go for now.
They love it. There was like a woman who was like, oh my gosh, you touched me during that last show and I was fangirling. Yes! And I literally, it was like a couple shows ago, I literally just like walked past her and just like did a thing. Yeah. And I was like, I do remember that.
They get so excited.
The audience interaction is way more important to us than you being somebody who can like, what is one of the hardest pole tricks? A fongie. Which is a crazy thing.
Explain a fongie.
It's a shoulder mount to a flip to back to a shoulder mount.
You basically are switching directions, so you're facing up on the pole, you're on your shoulder, and then your legs are coming, so you're flipping down,
and then you have to flip yourself back up, and there's a moment of no contact with the pole. It's really dangerous.
How? Oh my God, I'll follow.
It takes a lot of, you can look it up. It's called a fongie. You can look it up on YouTube or whatever. It just blows my mind. I have tried it when I was a lot more working towards pole tricks, but it is so hard, and I'm pretty strong. I would consider myself to be pretty strong.
F-O-N.
I spelled it right somehow.
First of all, watching you guys is mesmerizing, especially when you make eye contact It's like I know them from a different part of my world.
Yes.
Should I look at them?
Right.
But then there's this physicality. You guys are athletes up there.
Yeah.
What I see, there's a certain physical strength, but there's also a mental strength.
So that is so important. That's what literally you need to have because I take a lot of my students and it's like, if a student has been with me a while and I see like a potential, like we have had students, mine and Kelsey's, join us.
Yeah, we like that.
We
like
love
it
that.
to be a little bit of a
and
showcase.
what we tell them, new performers, we are literally like, you need to be mentally prepared for it to go very wrong.
Yeah.
And I need to be able to see that you're able to
Doesn't
recover
faze you.
from that seamlessly.
Yeah.
And that's like the main thing.
Right.
Like if your set is going badly, the audience cannot be made aware of that. And that's the mental strength they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
There's a short memory.
I have fucked it up many times.
Yeah.
Like we
Oh,
both have.
nothing
Where it's
ever
like,
goes-
this does not go right.
No, never.
And then you just go into either the next thing that you were planning or a different thing, but maintain your character, I was the Benny thing, trying to get those things off my neck, just like, you know, I was already in my mind making a contingency plan. Like, can I
Right.
dance in these? I probably can. They're gonna drop into my face, whatever, it'll be fine. Like, how long am I gonna keep trying to do this before I abandon trying to get them off? You're like thinking, but then you're also acting at the same time. Like, you really don't wanna be out of character when you're, like, don't let the panic show in your
don't
face.
show them that you're dying inside.
Which I'm sure makes it harder too, because you guys are still like actively in the audience, so you're pretty close to a lot of the audience.
Yeah.
So it's like when you were Benny, you were in between tables,
Yes.
on tables.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And those girls, I was the one table were Kelsey's students. They come on Sundays.
Oh, cool.
We met them at the market too. The mental strength. That's like, that's any performer though. That's like any performance. It's just like when there's like an extra element of like a lot of physicality.
Yeah, you guys have a lot of movement and a lot of exertion, so I'm sure it's even harder to like play things off if something were to go wrong.
Yeah. And then sometimes you crawl off, like I'll be in the back, I'll come through the curtains and I'll be like,
As soon as you get off stage, it's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
There's a lot of adrenaline, and also, we're not young anymore.
Yeah. So it does we don't always get time to stretch, which just progressively gets,
The warming
it's
up.
really difficult because we are running around doing a lot of stuff. And so the warming up sometimes, I would say every single time is never what it should be. Sometimes we get more time to warm up. Sometimes we get zero time to warm up, which actually isn't acceptable.
We're pretty warm from
Yeah.
running around
Yeah,
and putting out small fires though. So
Yeah. We've been running around all that day. So it's not like we woke up and jumped on stage. Like, we've been running around all day, but still the physical aspect of it. But you do start to like understand what like poses and what movements look good on your body. So if you fuck up, like, you know what you can go into. Like, we spend a lot of time looking at photos that are sent to us and videos. So like, we know, like, you'll see something in a video where you're like, I won't do that again. Like, that was a weird face. Why did you do that? Or whatever. So, there's things like you just kind of start to realize, like, how the faces to make and the poses to do that are gonna just kind of allow you to, like, if you have massively fucked up, just.
Is there like a go-to, like, if you're fucking up, be like, I know this one thing, like
Yes.
this split
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always.
Everybody has their own.
Everybody,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, yeah.
everybody
I love
should
it.
have
Yeah.
one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
teach that to my students. I'm like, and like, to the point that if you're close enough to me, you'll know. You'll like be like, she must be dying inside.
Yeah.
She went to that move.
But I love that as like the audience, because I've never done like those classes before, so I could think you're doing everything perfectly right.
Yeah,
So
that's the goal.
That's the goal.
Exactly.
That's the goal,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have never seen a fuck up, and even if I did, I'd probably be like, "That's amazing!" Like, I would not know. So amazing work. Or like the woman that you made an impression on her. I'm sure it was just like those small little things. It's like amazing. I love that.
Just a little touch.
Kelsey, we're talking about your free dance and your improvising, but how much of that is anchored on technique?
It's all technique.
all of
Yeah,
it.
it's all technique. Yeah, it's all technique. Like, my background is I started pole dancing basically to become a stripper. And so my background is like in like the, you know, the exotic dance form. So that has been like super perfected over almost 10 years now. So there's like a really specific technique that I use, which is a like internal and external rotation of your feet. Like my foot is always sickled, but it's never, you know, relaxed. It's always point and then a sickle. And so there is
Show
a
them,
lot.
do it.
Well,
Wait.
this is a point and this is a sickle.
Yeah, so she does a lot of this.
Yeah, so a lot of
business.
the swirly stuff. And if you sickle your foot in that way, it's going to give a different look than if you're pointing. So for me, that's a big thing. And then dancing, like putting your weight up on towards the toe box of the platform. So like on the platform where it comes up, there's like a lip. I put a lot of my weight onto that. And that's a specific technique also. Not everybody utilizes that. You don't have to.
So it's just always making your body look like curved movement at all times.
Yeah, I mean, you work. You work with. I like to tell students, you know, start to work with things that the ways that your body naturally moves, and like you can always work on like whatever you want, like however you want to improve, or a style that you like that doesn't come quite naturally, but like start to notice how your body just does naturally move, and like start working with that so that you can develop your own style because everybody's different.
I love those shoes. We will not look past the light up platforms from the last show. I will need the link for those.
Yeah. Oh, I have it for you. Yeah.
Oh my God. I remember looking at you and I was like, her shoes are lit.
Oh, those are, I love to, I have a
They're
couple.
so cute.
Real crowd pleaser.
I've got 2 pairs that I only bring out for shows, and it's that one and then a pair of rhinestone ones.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Gabby and I met through work, but through our work experiences, we discovered we had this natural chemistry where we decided to become friends and do creative stuff together. I'm very curious how the two of you met.
Noelle forced her friendship onto me.
It's not. I commented on her on one of her tattoos. This was the first like real friendship conversation.
Which one was it?
It was
Oh yeah,
it was
because of the sewing. The sewing.
Because I sewed. I sew a lot too. I grew up sewing. But we met in dance class at a dance studio that neither one of us attend anymore.
We don't.
And I asked her about that, and then we were talking about, you know, I think working in clubs, and also both of us were working in hospitality at the time, so we kind of connected on that and sewing, and then like we just started showing up to class together, like meeting where we parked, texting each other, you know, we would share a pole.
Yeah.
That studio was a little bit toxic, so we like to walk in together, kind of to like
be each other's bodyguards.
Yeah, it was a pretty like showgirl studio, which neither of us really felt we fit into, but it was like the convenient studio for both of us, location wise.
And then like sometimes we would have coffee and like we would get pho. And then like we were talking about this recently, like I don't know when we started texting every day.
Me
like,
neither.
When does that happen where you're like, you become like so close to somebody that you're like texting them every day, just like, you know, like live tweeting your life to them? But like that happened, and then
I think it was after your date night.
oh my God, don't even, we're not telling that story. That was a really fucked up story.
But I do think that is like right around this time.
So we then were like, we were working together. She got me a job at a club, and I got her a job at as a bartender.
Yeah.
And so then basically our schedules were always aligned. And a performance troupe came, I don't want to knock the performance troupe.
We don't need to say.
A performance troupe came and performed at the bar we were working at. And we were bartending, and they were bad.
Yeah.
We were like completely unimpressed. And
why can't we have
we
this?
didn't know that like the management of our bar would like allow a troupe to come in and like sell tickets, like charge a door charge to fund their show. And we were like, did they charge a cover they're charging a cover for this? We were like, this is fucked. No, we could do this. So we went to our management and we were like, hey, can we have a show? We want to have a show.
We want a show. We're
dancers.
gonna have a show. Just so you know.
So that was how it started. And then, I mean, that's seems like a million years ago.
It
We've
was.
lived a million lifetimes since
million
then.
years
but
ago.
yeah, we've been creative partners now for 5 or more years with just everything. And we're like, people ask us all the time if we're sisters. I think because the red hair, but we end up dressing
always
alike.
dress the same.
Like, we make all of our clothes and we buy our fabrics together. So a lot of times we are
the
just
same
like
fabric.
accidentally wearing almost the same outfit, which is funny because we never ask each other what we're wearing. Like we never do
It's
that.
you are now sharing.
It's just we
one
like
brain
come,
cell.
like we came
in the
today
best
and
way
she was
possible.
like, "Oh, we kind of are inverted in our like outfits."
Yeah.
So it's just been a really rewarding
That's so nice. Though.
relationship.
It's very rare when you're able to like mesh so easily with somebody where you're like always on the same wavelength. And so business can be hard with a friend like that. So it's like when it becomes so natural and easy, like that's rare.
Yeah, it's been really nice. So
It's been like we really like we're very similar, but like we also kind of slide into our own tasks with the show and with working together really
We've
well.
never really like delegated.
We've never been like, okay, so you'll be
this
responsible
is
for
yours
this,
and
I'll
this
be-
is.
we
It just
don't
kind
really
of
do that. It kind of
happens.
just like melds into like, okay, this is what we do. We actually sat down with a person who was successful at running a show one time and had a partner, and she was like, no matter what, draw up a contract and say what the other person, what tasks you're responsible for.
We were like,
we looked at each other like, I don't think so. We've never done that. So knock on wood, it's still been going well.
Yeah, well, you know.
I also just love that you saw a not great show and we're like, hold our beer, we got
I
this.
think that is like a real.
That's amazing.
I think that's a real through line for me. I think where it's like where you see someone do something and you're like, I could do that better. Like that's a real motivating thing. Not in like a mean-spirited way. Like I don't.
It's like inspirational. Flipping it in a name.
I think artists tend to struggle with self-doubt, and I need to know that it's possible and that it's like something that's within my skill set. Like, oh, if somebody else can do it, I can do it too.
I can do it also.
Which is not my favorite thing about myself. Like, I feel like that, you know, it would be nice if you could just like come out of the gate and be like, I can do that. I don't need to see somebody else do it poorly first. But like, this is,
It's just not really like how you're brought up also. Like to take such a risk is like sometimes, you know, we take a risk when we do the thing. But yeah, I think it's nice to like see like, okay, other creative people are doing the thing. We certainly are capable as well. But like from that show, then it like, seeing that, then it morphed into like, well, we sew, like we're gonna make our costumes because that's what we like to do. And like, it also, you know, allows us to keep a bigger portion of our ticket sales because we're not spending money on buying already made costumes. Like we live downtown in the fashion district. Like we know where to like get this stuff, and like we're, you know, making it ourselves, and we've gotten really good at turning any costume into a leotard.
Into a dance costume. Yeah, that's like part of the thing. It's like you come from that cosplay world, which is so cool. I'm like so into that world.
It's so intricate.
It's so intricate, and you guys do like the real deal shit.
Yeah.
And we're just like, how can we make that spandex?
Yeah. How can we make this into spandex? Like constantly being like, I can't wait to show you how I Frankensteined this together. Like,
but you gotta be like quick with that. I mean, we obviously when we go into cosplay, I don't think like, can I wear this while like using a pole as well?
Right. Like,
but still, you know, you wear it for like 12 hours a day, so it's like you gotta make it fit for whatever the use is for, you know? So it's like it's still a lot of work.
and there's a lot of like gluing on of things, like with the spray, like the grip. There's a lot of like the leotards to our bodies. Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you pee mid-show, that's like our whole
Good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Yeah.
I have the it's called firm grip or like tough skin. And it's actually what gymnasts use for their bottoms so that their leotards don't go off their ass.
That is
Yeah.
Very
So
useful.
you're just like
Spraying yourself.
well, I didn't mean to my mic, sorry. You're like pressing it on yourself, so it doesn't come off and it doesn't show any lines.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you don't want those tights leaving lines.
The mesh outfit I had on for the Imhotep set, the glitter rhinestoney one, that was sprayed on. That was like glued down. I didn't want to put pasties on underneath because you could see them.
The gems to cover the nipples, but then if the nipple shifts,
then it's just
oh my God, that's true.
It's just mesh, and then we've got like a shifting. Like I also rhinestoned. I put the nipples in the wrong spot also when I was putting it on the mannequin. And so when I put it on, I was like,
those mannequins are perky.
Okay, yeah, they are. And so I was like, I'm gonna have to spray this.
You gotta say emo nip. Emo nip. It's the sideshow from the Mummy.
Sideshow, that's the after show.
Exactly, the after hours Mummy.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hacks to use for costuming when you're dancing in it.
I've never heard of that, but now I will have to find that.
Let's talk about this entrepreneurial spirit, this other life that you have.
It came out of a place of like, you know, what do they say, like necessity and invention or whatever. We just truly did not want to be, we didn't want to be bartending anymore. We didn't really want to be working for anybody else. Like, you want to like take your gifts and incorporate them into something that can make you money, you know? And like, unfortunately, we live in a capitalistic society, so like, art kind of has to make you money unless you are independently wealthy, which would be fucking lovely.
Right.
But we're not.
The case.
So it's like you have to kind of like, if you want to do your art, you have to make some income from it. And so taking all of our talents and putting them, smushing them into one was just like what we needed to do. We were like, okay, we sew, we are reasonably okay at social media. We have a community of people that we've been dancing for a while, and I've lived in LA since 2006. She's lived here 2014. So like I've lived a million lifetimes in LA. I know people, you know, in different industries, different communities, and we're like, and we dance, and we have some theater background experience. So it's like, okay, this is what we're doing. We're putting it together, all of the things, and we would like to be making an income from it. So like, that's where it comes from. It's like, you just don't want to, I mean, what is this, without getting like too existential, you're like, what even is my purpose? You're like aging, you're like, the years are going by, I'm bartending, I want to do something. I want to like be in front of people and like have something to show for my like time here on earth. And for us, I think this is like a big part of that.
And we both went to college being told we can do whatever we want with whatever degree we get. So we both have creative degrees, film, theater. So we actually, when I think about it, we are using those degrees, but it has been a struggle to really make things happen. But yeah, so we have creative backgrounds, and it just all kind of comes together.
But I think it's so smart with like, it's hard to be an entrepreneur, first of all. It's already hard. It's a lot of risk, and it's a lot of like, can I even make money from this? Because capitalist, but I feel like in the last 2 years with COVID and everybody it's existential at every given moment of life now.
Yeah,
and
totally.
It's very much the like, but also I feel like the world we live in, but like especially LA, is like, how can I make money from my hobbies or like what I'm good at?
Oh my gosh, yes, we talk about this all the time.
And it is, and that's like such a struggle because it's like you can't have like a free hobby because
we talk about this all the time.
It's expensive as shit, but it's also like, it feels almost like a waste of time if you're not making a buck from it, which sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like to be able to actually have the talents and then to be able to put the pieces together to make something like Wicked Women, it's just like a dream. This is what so many people wish they had.
That what you said really resonates. And also as an instructor of a hobby thing, like to adults, we both teach, you know, it is really important to have a hobby. Like we both try to have hobbies where like we are not trying to make money from those things. You know,
which is a newer thing, I feel like for us.
It's hard to separate though, because every time we find something new where you're like, I love this, but how can I sell? And it's like, no, just like enjoy something.
We had a really fun moment where we were like, I was getting a little bit into roller skating, and Kelsea bought a pair of roller skates, and she filmed herself. She filmed herself just in her apartment with her roller skates on, kind of like dancing around. And of course she has a pole in her apartment because she, you know, does a lot of pole. And so she's skating around and somebody made, I mean, this was like, you know, they didn't mean anything by it, but they made a comment on her Instagram where they're like, wow, this is great. Can't wait to see what you do with it.
And I was
she's like, we're just sitting here like, do I have to do something with it? Or can I not just enjoy it?
Can I just enjoy this? And also, I ended up sucking terribly at it, and Noelle is mean to me about it.
It's okay. I feel like you and I bought fucking roller skates too, and I used them twice. They're in the trunk of my car, but they're cheetah print, so cool.
Honestly, I'm not mean, and I'm not very good at roller skating either.
She was a figure skater.
So was
I was barely.
Yeah.
And
see, this is why we think we can do it,
goes
and then we're like,
a
never
long
mind,
way,
not the
and
same.
I'm scared of it, and she makes me go down she makes me skate from her apartment to the Staples Center, and it's scary.
It's right there.
Yeah, but it's rough terrain.
It's the road though. It's scary. I ate shit. No. Yes, I ate shit once and didn't put them on for like a month.
Do not scream.
To
You're
go
making me
down
sound,
the hill.
So mean.
She made me go down the hill at the Staples Center, and she's screaming at me while I'm embarrassed.
It's so funny.
Okay, well, if it makes you feel any better, when I skate with Blake, she does that to me. Okay, because Blake has been doing it like more often, and Blake does this little jump. She's my friend Blake. She does a little hop where she can like jump and bring her feet off the ground, and she's like Noelle, you can do it, and I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I mean, it's fine. We all have our
So anyway, I've never done it again.
But hobbies.
I love that.
Hobbies, capitalism, it's like really hard, and I try to like reinforce for my adult students, like, hey, like you can just do this, and it's very valuable. It's
Right,
like
it doesn't have to work towards
You don't have to
anything.
work towards anything. You can just come to class.
Yeah.
And like, don't be hard on yourself. You're here. Like, I think that that's like something that's really important and not focused on enough. Like, hey, as an adult, go learn something. Anything at all, it's valuable to learn something. We're human beings, and that's like part of what makes us feel fulfilled. So I think that that's really important. But yeah, Kelsey and I have turned everything into all of our hobbies for the most part.
Yeah.
We have to like consciously be like, this is something I'm not making money on. I like to be bad at it.
I'm just gonna do this. Don't hassle me. Like, but also at the same time, my one hobby right now is a dance class at Playground. It's a beginner heels class. It's been a stressful situation. However, it still ties into exercise and dance. So it's like, I picked a hobby that was like still part of what I do, instead of being like, I'm gonna do fucking underwater basket weaving or whatever. You know, it's like I still picked one that is cross training for the thing that I do. I love it. It's stressful.
Even finding a hobby in general is hard.
It is.
So, especially with like just being alive right now and these trying times.
Yes, it is.
Everything's
hard.
exhausting. So
it is.
Even having that, I think, is admirable. I used to paint all the time, and now I'm like, how can I make an Etsy shop? I'm like, shut up, I'm never gonna do an Etsy shop.
People say that to you too. Like, they like comment
you
on
should
the
make
site.
an Etsy
shop.
Oh,
Yeah.
like,
Bitch,
I'm like, first of all, guys, I have an Etsy shop. Can I it sucks.
I'm like, you know what? Knowing me, I'm too fucking lazy to be operating any sort of business. So it's like
It's not like an easy
hustle.
hustle.
It also like kind of undermines people who are running an Etsy shop.
Yes,
Like,
it does.
Like, it's so easy. No, it's literally not. And it
No.
really sucks. And people on Etsy are pretty fucking mean.
Yeah.
And if your like thing isn't exactly like the way it is in the photo, they will like come for you. I had a 1-star review because I make candles. And there was a drip of wax.
Oh my God, this is the best.
Coming down the side, like I had not wiped that. It got past me, and there had been a drip of wax, rogue drip of wax coming out the outside of the candle.
God forbid.
And they were like, there was a drip of wax. I had to wipe it off. And I was like, you cannot be serious. You bought a 15.
It's called a trash candle
from a human being. Like, who made it for you?
Called a trash candle. It's in a cute
That
little.
is so weird. But that is so
really
typical of like buying from like a chain store where everything's manufactured in that way, and it's like handmade. That is not how it works. there's gonna be little.
that thing in my kitchen.
God.
You know, like in between 900
Just be like,
other things.
just send them a link for like Bed Bath & Beyond or like what Yankee Candle and be like, I found a place that you might like better.
Here's your toxic candle.
Exactly.
How about?
This sounds more like your vibe.
Yeah,
here.
this is great. Here's your fucking candle.
Yeah, exactly. Here's your fucking candle,
Yeah.
yankeecandle.com.
Yeah. You know how easy it is to take a fucking drip of wax off? You just like flick it or something.
Exactly.
Like, I'm sorry, it's wax.
So hanging out with Gabby, I discovered we have a kindred spirit that we always like to have fun. We like to be Gabby Goose everywhere we go. And when I'm around y'all, I recognize that same energy and camaraderie. How do you feel about balancing life, using creativity as you do is so important?
Well, we can pick our own schedule, actually, for the most part, which is a nice, which allows us, this is a hard fucking question, which allows us to kind of like fit in self-care, like if we need to. Like, we don't work a 9 to 5, so I guess that in a way is balancing.
I would say that balancing, in answer to the question, I would say balancing shit is important, but
It's hard.
finding a person that is kindred with you, like you and Gabby and me and Kelsea, is like the most important thing, because you have that person to like commiserate with.
There we go.
Or melt down with.
Yeah.
Or like listen to and then move on. I think
Yeah.
relationships in your life, in outside of the romantic sense, which because I think that that's given a lot more importance in our society than it even needs to
Yeah.
be. Like other relationships, like relationships with people that are close to you that can help you in this shit show of a world, like make sense of it. That's really important.
Yeah.
So like friendships and partnerships and, you know, we call, I like to call us creative partners. Is really important. And, you know, putting all of that on yourself or a romantic partner can be like a real way to trip and fall. You know, I think it's
Lots
like
of pressure there.
Yeah, it's a ton of pressure. And I just feel like we do such a good job of having meltdowns and taking turns having meltdowns.
And being
you
like,
know?
okay, well, this is why you're great.
But allowing the space
Yeah.
for you both to have
Yeah.
that,
Yes.
it's like the comfortability and like approachableness of just
And-
letting it all happen.
And then also knowing what your role is in that time. You know, when Kelsey's having a bad day and I can tell, you know, like that's when my role is to like listen and soothe and whatever, and like vice versa. And we have a really nice flow and a really nice rhythm like that. And you know, you don't always want to be putting stuff on one person, on your friendships. You don't want to just dump on that person constantly. So like just having that with somebody or with multiple people that you can do, I think is in my life, and I think in her life, one of the most important things.
Yeah.
Just to find someone and to really open yourself up and be vulnerable with that person, like the way you guys met and are like, wow, I think this is like really working. This is worth exploring, and we can kind of help each other out get through this life. I think that's, for me, that's the most important thing. Because life is, man.
Life is, life's a doozy.
Life is hard.
And also, Gabby, thank you for always checking and having fun with me, but also being one of the few people that checks in with my mental health over the last 2 years. And I appreciate that.
Well, we've also, like, our language with each other has developed a lot also, because there will be times where it's like, okay, I just need to fucking like spew this out, and I do not need advice. I just need to get it out there. I need to tell you why I'm having a shitty day. I don't need you to to stress yourself by thinking of a response, but this is where I'm at, just letting you know. Or, hey, I'm a total piece of shit, tell me something nice.
Yeah, like, and knowing like what is the appropriate response with your friends and your partners, and I just think that is so valuable. And one thing that I've learned in the last few years is just like how valuable that is. I think we are kind of brought up with this idea of like, you know, waiting for this like this person, this like romantic partnership that's gonna like be your everything, and
just unrealistic.
It's really unrealistic. And reevaluating and being like, each relationship in my life holds value, and knowing how to relate to people in your life and to place value on those relationships is just like super important. So that's how I try to find balance.
Yeah, but I think that's a great point too. I always, because I like to complain, but not in a way where I just like to you know, sometimes it just be like that. I don't ever do it for like fishing for a response necessarily. I just like to complain sometimes. So it's like, if I'm feeling like ass and I feel like I look like ass, I do not want you to be like, no, you look good. Just let me complain about it. You know? It's the same thing, but it's like bouncing off of people and just like knowing that that's the vibe I'm giving off and that's what you're giving back is like, it's so nice to not have to like always say that, you know, like explain that.
It's a really nice thing to have, and I think as you age, the wisdom of those relationships and the value becomes more apparent, you know?
And creating a community, like Noelle has done a really good job of creating like an aerial community where that's not really a thing very much. And it, you know, because it's very like circus arts, but like it doesn't have to be that. And like Noelle's done a really good job with like her studio and everything of like making a really like welcoming, like diverse, you know, population of students coming in. And community is really important because it, you know, it gives, community is everything, and like we don't place emphasis on that as much in here. And
what
you know,
else
it's like
is there?
Yeah, it is everything. You have to have a healthy community to have like a healthy fucking mind, and like here in the you know in the U.S. it's like individualism. It's all, you know, pull yourself up and blah blah. But it's like
bootstraps.
It's like, well, maybe I need my friend to pull the other bootstrap up. Like, what the fuck? So like, having a community, because that also makes sure that you are not placing the burden on just like one specific person.
I think that's a great point though, especially like the last 2 years, dude. My mental health has never been this shit.
Yeah.
So it's like just to be able to like commiserate, like you said, with other people who get it is so nice. You just need that.
I mean, that's the most important. Other people who get it. Like when you can find someone to be like, hey, are you feeling like a total imposter in the thing that you've chosen to do? Oh,
me too.
Me too. Or are you feeling completely invalidated, like nobody fucking listens to you and everything you're doing is garbage?
Yeah.
Me too.
All the
time. That's really nice. And then like knowing when to lift your friend up and to be like, hey, that's okay that you're feeling that way, but also here are these facts. So like, it's fine. Your feelings are valid, but also total bullshit. Because here's what the actual truths are. Like, that's so nice to do for people. That's like, you know, and we all need to do that for each other.
Absolutely. And also listen to our own advice, but
that's
another.
We need to do it for
give
ourselves
advice all
too.
day
That's
fucking
another
long, and then I go home and cry myself into a fucking.
But that's another podcast.
That's an entire other podcast.
Exactly.
That's like the flip side. It's like the tarot card, like the flip side, like the shit side of this podcast. It's right here. It's all negative. Everything's bullshit.
Everything
then we
sucks,
die.
And then we die.
So, can't hardly wait. Gabby, how do you feel about the show coming up?
Okay, so I've never actually seen this movie.
Good. That's fine.
So should I not watch it before coming?
No, you can watch it.
You can watch it. Yeah.
Okay,
You can watch
spoilers.
it.
I'm kidding. I will happily see it because I love the 90s rom-com.
Yes.
But totally agree. They're not really made like that anymore because they wouldn't land the same. But it's like the cheesy.
We're gonna have to.
There's
we do a lot of editing in a lot of
some not
our.
age well.
We edit over some of the problematic shit in all.
Okay,
in
well, that's
all
good.
of the movies.
Yeah, we'll either dance over it or just delete a scene. We do a lot of deleting of scenes. It's our show.
Yeah,
We're allowed.
exactly.
Can't Hardly Wait is gonna be great. Oh my god, that fucking rhymed. The music in the show is gonna be crazy throwback for us.
Yeah,
like
90s
just
bangers.
So much fun, and also the movie has like a soundtrack that's like, because it all takes place at a party in one night, it has a soundtrack that's pretty much just basically pumping 90s classic jams from start to finish. There's like not a moment in the movie where like a really nostalgic song is like not playing.
And man, the outfits, the nostalgia in this fucking movie is like
It's heavy.
none other.
It's heavy.
Like, I loved this movie when I was younger, and just like there's like one scene where the girl is walking in with these shoes that picks up the love letter, and I was like, those shoes! Oh my god! I love that. So it's awesome. So.
But we're gonna do the cool costumes. We're really excited about like some gags that we'll get to do because it's like so kind of like cheesy teen comedy. We're gonna have some easy props. It's gonna be kind of Mean Girls-esque with like the props, I think.
Easier costuming
with like more time to focus on like props and like shticks.
Yeah.
You know, like when we do our little like Kelsea and I did with Fight Club.
Do you feel like with the comedy, because I know you said before you weren't really like doing comedy or anything like that, but do you feel like this is more like true to your personality with having kind of stuff like this?
Yeah, this stuff is, we're getting so much better at the comedy and more comfortable with it. And
it's a balance. It's a nice balance. Like, because we've got pole dancing, we've got aerial, and so it's like there is a balance of kind of everything.
Yeah, we
like,
also try to make it like it's a comedic movie, but the sets don't have to be comedic because sometimes we play the characters like it's their inner monologue. Like, where it's like in this movie, there's a character who's like, it's Melissa Joan Hart, and she's coming through with a yearbook, and she's like that, like, super, like, kind of dorky popular girl. Like, she's not popular, but she's, like, really into school, and she's like, send my yearbook, everybody send my yearbook. She's, like, really excited about it. And, like, the girl who's dancing to that wants to do a cover of Creep. And, like, where it's like her inner monologue is like she's kind of bullied, you know, like she's kind of like, she's really bubbly persona, but she's also like kind of maybe sad inside. So just because it's comedy doesn't mean like it has to be comedic.
Also very relatable.
Yeah,
Trying so hard to fit in where it's just
we
kind
like
of
to take
sad.
like a small character and make it what that character might be going through inside.
Definitely. Well, when that comes on, I will have a lighter ready to be like,
great.
Yeah.
Tell us again the date of the show.
25th of
The
April.
25th
This month.
And just this month, April 25th. In general, our show is the last Monday of every month at El Cid. So the last Monday of every month, that's our show night. You can always buy tickets by going through our Instagram, which is Wicked Wicked Woman.
Yes.
And we always have the tickets to like the next upcoming show on that Wicked Woman link. And we will also link this podcast when we get it on our Wicked Woman
and our
Instagram.
personal ones also.
And our
so,
personals. But Wicked Wicked Woman is what you should be following for all upcoming shows.
Yeah.
And we do have all of the shows for this year, for 2022, planned.
Yeah, when we're talking at the end of the show.
We always give the sneak announcement at the show. But yeah, we have some really good bangers planned.
Yeah.
You have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Gabby, do you have any final thoughts?
I'm just very happy that you met them and you brought me along because this is like so up my alley. I can't even explain to you. Like, this is so fun. So thank you for being here. I love that I met you guys.
thank you.
This is so fun. And I can't wait to
you.
go
Love it.
to all of the shows
Yes, please.
and bringing all of my friends.
Yes.
So
We love
many
it.
people that would love this that I will make them come. It's so fun.
There's nothing better than forcing your friends to do something with
And
you.
then that thing
Exactly.
you force them to do is actually cool.
Yeah.
Which is like,
That's
that's
very
the
true.
bonus.
Yeah.
Because you've
yeah.
been brought to things before.
things
where
where you're like, oh.
Exactly. Where I'm like, and the whole time you're like, I'm sorry, usually it's better, but no, no.
You know, you can tell we're getting old because we like to sell the show as like, you can still have an early bedtime and come to the show.
It's done at 10.
Like,
Honestly-
it's done at 10 p.m. so you can get home and get to bed at a reasonable hour, which is like, we literally are
that's selling
like,
point.
we're 30s guys.
Yeah.
We like to have our bedtime.
We need our beauty sleep. We also need to get to California Donuts like now.
Oh yeah, that's you can have that tidbit of fun
that's
fact.
our
Our post-show routine is that we go to California Donuts in K-Town and get ham and cheese croissant.
And a buttermilk donut. And
Which we
split
share.
it.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
We're very excited to come see your show again and support your entrepreneurial journey.
Yes.
And blossom.
We really
you.
appreciate
Yeah,
what
we
you guys are
appreciate
doing
it,
too.
yeah.
This is so cool.
Yeah, this is
like,
awesome.
what a fun thing, and like, what a nice partnership. It's been so great chatting with you guys.
Yes.
Yay.
Lola.
Lola.
Closing
Lola
thoughts.
too.
Closing
We love
statements.
Lola. She's like, I'm hot, guys.